Appliances, a company out of the UK, has developed this CACHEBOX is what they call it, and they come in different sizes. And it does exactly that. It sits on your network, it monitors your traffic, you configure a number of different things, and it caches the content. And not only does it do it transparently and on the fly, but you can have predefined libraries, your most common things, Windows updates, Adobe updates, Apple updates. There's, I think, 19 different packages. I'll get on to show you the interface. But I think there are 19 pre-built packages that it automatically looks for that content and delivers it. So on our network, instead of having a Windows update server, which I've had in the past, and it's yet another thing to have to manage, and it's a Microsoft product, and so it's weird to manage, and it fails all the time. This just transparently sits there and monitors your internet traffic, and when I go out and get the pre-build for Windows 11, and it automatically updates that, and when Gavin goes to get it, he downloads it at network speed. And so we'll see our updates. They'll come up and say you have downloads, starting download, finished installing. Where it used to be, you have downloads, 1%, 2%. It was like the install was faster than the download. Now that's not the case because we're delivering that at network speed. Plus, the real advantage is that now that bandwidth is freed up for the real things that we need it for, right? I don't want to be consuming that during the day when we're potentially needing to deliver video to a classroom, especially if we have remote learning kids that, that's not something you can cache. You can't cache live video, right? But the other things that are happening around behind the scenes that happen at the same time, we can cache those and offload that so that it's not consuming, not taking all of our water pressure from our plumbing, so to speak. So I would like to share my screen, see if I can do this. So I'm already logged into our CACHEBOX, and the default dashboard just kind of shows some quick information. It immediately shows me what my top domains are. Microsoft.com is my biggest one right now. Windows Update, is the second biggest one here. This is just kind of quick snapshot information to take a look at. Where I generally go is I go and I look at cache. Let me see if this will actually, my touch may not work without this on here. It might be a Zoom thing. It might be a Zoom and a remote thing all in one here. So this is a quick screen. It's kind of a diagnostic screen that just is going to show you what potentially is being caught. So everything that is in the column right here under hit that is a green, that's something that is a positive. It's the CACHEBOX sees that and it's delivering it at network speed. But the one thing I'd like to point out, and it's not super clear, but right up here under statistics, this first line says byte hit ratio 5/60 minutes. What this says is in the last 5 minutes, 87.9% of my traffic was cached. It was delivered by the box and not through the internet. And over the last 60 minutes, it's 39.5, almost 40%. This particular box has like 3.5 terabytes of storage. Some of it is flash. It's like solid state hard drive, and some of it is just strict memory, because the objects that need to be delivered the fastest are in memory, and then the larger objects like updates and things that don't need to be delivered like instantly, those are stored on solid state drive. So it's still fast delivery, but it's not as fast as in memory. If we go to content, actually, I'm going to show you reports before I talk about the libraries. So reports, looks similar to what that first screen did. I'm going to go to, let's do a highlight report. I can choose my reporting based on days, based on week numbers, and based on months. So let's just take a look at September of 2021 and get this report. So this will show us kind of how my box performed and what it potentially saved me in the month of September. So it says my bandwidth total was 962 gig, and the bandwidth saved was 732 gig, which is a 76% savings on the total bandwidth that came in and out of my district. So I don't know if ETS appreciates that, but that's bandwidth that if I'm not consuming in another school, potentially it could be, right? Because it all goes back to kind of one source. That's huge right there. There are, I can scroll down through here and it'll tell me what the largest byte hit ratio. Power School was really big, Edge Elastic, Common Lit, ReadWorks, Code, probably code.org. Tells me the application acceleration for different things, Teach TCI, Typing Agent, Power School again. Just kind of geeky numbers, right? You can go in there and look and go, wow, that's, you know, even though our Power School still is hosted on site, and even though it's still on site, it's still running through the CACHEBOX, because cache proxying initially was actually built for the providers, right? They were like, here I have a server farm and I need to deliver this information quickly, but back then servers weren't nearly as beefy as they are now. So when you got hit with 1,000 requests a second, it was really hard on those servers. So you'd put a caching proxy in front of it that was doing the opposite of what we're doing right now, right? We're delivering the cached content to the customer, where initially it was like the cached content was from the provider, just to save on their end. So some of this is, you know, some of these numbers, I couldn't tell you what some of this stuff means. A lot of it is more technical. I can just show you that it saved us a ton of bandwidth. Let's look at the content. So they call it a CDN, and I don't know what that stands for, but these are the libraries, and I have 93 enabled right now. And the ones, I'll just show you the top ones that are built in here: ForShare, 9 apps, Adobe, Amazon, Apple, Avast, Blizzard, CNN, Dailymotion, Disney Plus. There's a whole bunch of them in here that are pre-built, and these are ones that they knew were high bandwidth items, right? The company did. You could go and build this yourself, but to do it and to keep up on this would be tough. I just wanted a quick appliance that I could throw in. The support from these guys has been great. The support's out of the UK, so it's fun to talk to them. It's not like I have to call them in the middle of the night, right? They work on our time frame, but they've been awesome to work with. We've had very few issues, and any issues we did have, the team was right there with us. Gavin and his team helped a couple times on our initial deployment. We just had like some quirks that need to be worked out, and he put us in contact with those people. So we're on our second box. We had our first box we bought and had it for 5 years, and this is our second box, and this is the second year we've had for it. And essentially we bought a 5-year kind of rotation protection upgrade cycle. I can't remember what the initial cost was, but I think this last box that we had that was all refresh was like around $5,000, I think, for the box that we have. And yeah, we don't pay for the bandwidth in our state. Other states do. We don't. But to me, the value of delivering that information just so quickly, and then having that bandwidth available for other districts, even though we weren't out of bandwidth, right? It's still, the network is so much more responsive and snappy. You're not waiting for things to load. It's a really good product. I just think that I'm just passionate about every district needs to have some sort of caching solution.